The Inkey list hits and misses. The products that are absolutely wonderful that I don't understand how they are charging so much little money for, versus the ones that, even if they're under $10, are massively overpriced because of how crappy the formulas are, at least on my skin. And as a medical esthetician who has struggled with my skin and with acne, I'm very particular about the products that I use. And especially when doing treatments or services on others, I want to make sure that I'm using and recommending products that actually have actives that are going to work. And unfortunately, there are some products that, while they have great actives like niacinamide, the formulas are just they're just not it, honey. One of the products that I constantly lean on from the Inkey list is the salicylic acid cleanser. This is one of the absolute best, and it's at an affordable price. Salicylic acid is an ingredient that has been medically proven to help with skin inflammation, to help with acne, to help with blackheads and bacteria, and this works so well, especially if you have oily, acne-prone skin. And for anyone who deals with acne, whether it's whiteheads, blackheads, or even sebaceous filaments, which aren't exactly acne, but they can look a lot like acne, this is an absolute must. They also sell the beta-hydroxy acid serum, and that's good too, but this is way better, and it works so well, and you get a lot of it for the price. Now, while this is an absolute hit, for some people, this is an absolute miss. This is the Oat Cleansing Balm from the Inkey list, and I have to say, I love this. This is one of their best sellers, but some people hate this. We have Raiden, one of our beautiful butterflies, who literally talks about how when he uses this, it squirts into the sink and he doesn't even get it in his hand and he can't even use it. Nikki and Daisy Dog live in Florida, and they've said that when they use this, the product separates on them. Some people absolutely love this and some people hate this. For me, it is an absolute favorite. I love this as a first cleanse because it breaks down makeup and sunscreen so well, and you get so much and it's so inexpensive. But yes, it's a little gloopy on the tube, which our other beautiful butterflies have mentioned, and it can be a little bit separate-y, but for the price, I just mix it back up. This is a miss for many people, but this is absolutely a hit for me. Yet, if you do want a video on some oat balm alternatives, we do have some. But if the Inkey list does one thing right, it is cleansers. They do have the fulvic acid cleanser as well. This one is good, but I wouldn't call it a hit or a miss. I call it in the middle, but something that is new and is an absolute hit is the hyaluronic acid cleanser. Whereas this is amazing if you have oily, combo, or acne-prone skin. If you're looking for an excellent, inexpensive cleanser that gets the job done, but that actually helps to hydrate the skin or works for combo to dry, this is it. Oh my God, and if you're dry and you combine these two, literally double cleansing made in Welsh twins heaven. This is such a good combination, and while for summer this wasn't really a hit for me, I am going to see if I can start incorporating this more in winter, because as a brand that does inexpensive skincare right, this is such a good cleanser. Speaking of cleansers, we gotta talk about cleansing the hair, and the Inkey list has had some interesting, whoa, I'm dropping things. The Inkey list has gotten themselves into a hairy situation by launching like 15 different hair products all at once. I feel like it was so much that was too soon and I couldn't necessarily get the most out of it. Now, when the Inkey list first launched hair products, they really went ham with the PCA bond treatment. When I first tried that, hoping that it would fix my dry, dead split ends, I was so disappointed. The product wouldn't even come out of the nozzle. It was goopy and nasty, and it felt like the product was separating within the package. I hated it. It was an absolute miss. And when they came out with this mist as like a version 2.0, I was originally skeptical and wasn't going to try it, and then I did, and I have to say, this is so good. I was hoping that this would be like an inexpensive dupe for the Olaplex because I've been hearing so much about it, but basically repairing the bonds in the hair, repairing the cuticle of the hair so that it's smoothed over and shiny, and as you know, I have naturally very curly, frizzy hair, and I do smooth it out on a much more regular basis than I'd like to admit. And Mains by Mel is helping me embrace my curls, although I do have them a little bit blown out, a little bit Ariel Little Mermaid today. But when the Inkey list relaunched this PCA bond treatment, this is so good. If you just spray this and put it like on your ends, it really does help. And I don't think it's as good as the Olaplex. I still need to buy one. I haven't wanted to spend the money, but for the inexpensive price, the price is right on this one. And although it used to be a miss, it is now a hit in my book. Now, something that was just a disappointment was this hyaluronic acid hair treatment. This hair treatment is supposed to be like a frizz control, and at first I got it in the little bottle, and this sucked because I couldn't get the product out of the bottle because it's like, you can't squeeze it. Then they relaunched it in the squeezy hooky dookie tubes, which again, liked a lot better, but the product itself was just not good. It feels like a liquidy hyaluronic acid serum, and it didn't do anything for my frizz, and if anything, it kind of made my frizz worse. If you are someone who has like wavy hair or straight hair, maybe that would work, but my hair is very curly and very frizzy, and this just did not cut it. And maybe it's because I got too much frizz. I don't know. This was an absolute miss for me, and I don't understand why or how people like this. It was a no-go. But as noted, the Inkey list does do hyaluronic acid in the cleanser well, and the Inkey list does do hyaluronic acid as a serum well. We gotta talk about hyaluronic acid serums. This is a bestseller on the Inkey list's website, and for good reason. It's also less than $10. It's affordable, and because it's in this little kind of serum applicator, you can literally use this on its own to add a boost of hydration to the skin, or you can mix it in with a moisturizer. For example, this is what I've currently been using. I've been using it for like 8 months from Ulla Henriksen. This has vegan peptides. It's the strength training moisturizer. If I want to mix these together, they play so well. And even if I do use the hyaluronic acid on its own, it's actually a hydrating form of hyaluronic acid. You see, the tricky thing about HA is that it's this glycosaminoglycan. It's this amazing molecule that our body makes naturally. However, hyaluronic acid is a humectant, so it holds onto moisture. And if you don't have moisture inside of another occlusive product, it can actually dry out your skin. And I have found that the Inkey list, the way they formulate this, it doesn't cause that to happen the way a lot of other inexpensive hyaluronic acids do. We've done a video on the best and worst HA products, and this is definitely not the best of the best, but for the Inkey list and for the price, this is a good one. And because I can mix it into so many things, it's so versatile, it does work. I get why this is a bestseller. For my oily prone skin, it is a hit. It's not like a slam dunk though, but if you are looking for something to add to your routine to hydrate this winter, especially if you use this mixed in with a moisturizer or under a moisturizer, this is it. And again, it's already like $7, so I think it's worth it either way. But I'm at the point where I don't think you should be spending tons of money on hyaluronic acid. I feel like if it's more than $30 or $40 for just a hyaluronic acid serum, I'm like, why? Especially when we have things like this or like Isntree that are the answers. And that unfortunately, one thing, why am I dropping things today? One thing that the Inkey list just launched that is an absolute miss is this. This is the niacinamide. This is the super solutions, which by the way, more videos on the super solutions coming soon because they launched some bomb diggity stuff like their benzoyl peroxide, which is one of my new favorite body acne products, and this scar, wrinkle, and mark solution. If you want a good retinoid, whew, is this a good retinoid? But they also launched this 20% niacinamide. Steer clear from this. This is gross. Again, niacinamide is a wonderful ingredient. We absolutely love it, but there is such thing as too much of a good thing. And even though I love the Inkey lists, I will go down and say they are one of my favorite brands. Doesn't mean that I like every single product from their line. And this one, again, this one missed the mark. This did not slam the dunk. This dunked the slam, and it still got slammed upside the face. This product goes on smooth, but then it almost gets pasty. It gums up and it pills up underneath my other products. It doesn't play well with any other product in the routine, and it leaves like this white niacinamide-y paste. And again, niacinamide and azelaic acid are notoriously hard to formulate with, specifically because they can get kind of chalky, but this one. And also, who needs 20% niacinamide? Like, do you need that much niacinamide? Even Paula's Choice has a 20%. Why? Why? We don't need this. They could have done such a good job if they mixed this with like a vitamin C and called it like a BC niacinamide type thing, like the water-soluble ingredients. This was an absolute miss, and even though it's a super serum, which I was so excited about, I do not recommend this. I am testing out other super serums, which again, some I recommend and I'm testing more soon, but one of the treatments that the Inkey list did really well with is this one. This is the scalp exfoliator, the salicylic acid exfoliating scalp treatment. And just the way this salicylic acid cleanser is amazing for those who have acne or blackheads. If you get hairline acne, if you get pomade acne, why am I dropping things today? If you are someone that gets acne in your hairline, this is so good. If you get a crusty scalp, if when you scratch, you get snowflakes, this is so good. Now, this is not going to cure dandruff. It's not going to cure any scalp condition, right? Especially if you have psoriasis or eczema or seborrheic dermatitis. See a dermatologist, get a diagnosis, probably get a prescription. But if you're someone who just has like a thick scalp, you know what I'm talking about. If your scalp is thick and it's not due to lupus, This stuff, baby, is so good. I also love the nozzle. The application of this is so easy. It's a nice lightweight formula and it doesn't like nasty up your hair. And no, I caught that one. It doesn't nasty up your hair. This is just so good, and I massage it in either before I shampoo, or sometimes I do this after I'm out of the shower and I sleep with it in my scalp overnight. Again, so good, especially if you get acne right around your hairline from using different hair products. So good. The Inkey list did this so well, and I'm actually shocked that more skincare brands don't have scalp treatments because, again, skin is also skin. We know that the Inkey list does cleansers really well. We know that their treatments can be hit or miss, but something else that they do phenomenally are toners. And I feel like the Inkey list doesn't get a lot of attention to their toners, but I don't know why, because they literally create two of my favorite ones. This is the PHA or polyhydroxy acid toner, and this is the glycolic toner. And oh my God, if the Ordinary's toning solution is too much for you, baby, this is a godsend. This is your guardian angel. This is your soulmate from another zip code. This is so nice. It is non-irritating as compared to the Ordinary's, and yet it's a little bit hydrating and nourishing to the skin. This has a really low molecular weight, so it's very, very tiny. I think it's 73 or 74 grams per mole, but it is absolutely wonderful. And if your skin is struggling with desquamation, you need a little bit of a glow, maybe you have a little bit of acne or post-acne marks, oh my God, this stuff is so good. And if you're dry, again, an AHA actually holds onto water and can help with a little bit of moisturization. Now, if you're super sensitive and even glycolic is too much for you, or if you're much drier and you just need the moisture, that's when the PHA comes in. Polyhydroxy acid, literally poly means many, and the polyhydroxy acid in here is talking about the big old thick chunky molecule of the PHA. Now, these PHAs are super good at holding onto water, and they actually kind of hang out on top of the skin because of how big and chunky they are. They don't penetrate, but they exfoliate gently on the top. They're really good at holding moisture into the skin, and it's like a leveled up version and an even more sensitive version of this. Especially if you're someone who gets like hyperpigmentation or post-blemish marks, this can help. This is so good, and this is an absolute hit. And as you know, after we tone, we normally use a serum or a moisturizer, but unfortunately, the Inkey list has a moisturizer that is an absolute miss for me. This is the Simbright moisturizer, and when I first tried it, I kind of wanted to love it, but I ended up just kind of being disappointed. This is a brightening moisturizer, and again, it's got this patented ingredient, and then like they put glitter in it. And I'm like, bruh, if I wanted my face to be glittery, I would just put on makeup. I would just put on a glitter primer. Why do I need to put glitter and mica in my moisturizer? I find that this also doesn't like moisturize the skin a ton. I feel like I still need to use another moisturizer on top of it. And again, I am an oily to oily combo person. If this isn't moisturizing enough for me, what the f is it doing? This is an absolute miss. It does say you can use it day or night. I would love to know if anybody likes this because, again, when I first tried it, I gave it an honest shot. I gave it a go. I gave it a goo, but it just was not it for me. Based on the titanium dioxide and the glitter in here, this was just not it. I'm sorry, it wasn't mica, it was glitter, but this was a miss. Now, what does have mica in it is a product that I can't even hold up for you because it was such a miss that I got rid of it. We are talking about eye creams. Haha, I caught that one. The Eye Bright eye cream was a disaster. Probably one of my least favorite Inkey list products I've ever used. And again, Inkey list is inexpensive, so I tried some of their eye creams, such as the caffeine eye cream and the retinol eye cream and the Eye Bright eye cream, because I thought, okay, if it's inexpensive enough and it actually works, maybe this is an eye cream I can get behind. And while I can say that about the caffeine and the retinoid one, this is so bad. This has mica in it, and again, it is basically a glitter bomb for your under eyes. It highlights your under eye bags. Like, why would I want to do that? Not to mention, it kind of irritates the eye area, and even if you were charging $2 for it, like, it's not worth it. Like, get a moisturizer, like the peptide moisturizer from the Inkey list, which is bomb diggity, and put that under your eyes. It would do so much better. This Eye Bright was an absolute miss for me and such a disappointment. And again, with all of the Inkey list's eye creams, I like that they're inexpensive, but I wouldn't say that any of them are hits for me. But what they do very, very well in these little tiny tubes are spot treatments, and these are so worth it. The Inkey list actually creates two of my favorite spot treatments. One is the succinic acid spot treatment, which is basically a little green leprechaun to kill blemishes on your face. And And then the mandelic acid treatment, which is so good and inexpensive and beginner friendly if you want something that actually helps to hydrate the skin and if you have dry skin and acne. This mandelic acid spot treatment is so phenomenal for dry skin. This actually has glycerin in it as well, so it's a more hydrating formula. And because it's an AHA, it actually doesn't dry out the skin. So if you do have big honkin' whiteheads that are really inflamed, or even little blackheads, this is so good and so gentle. And if you do have dark spots, that's really who this is for. If you are someone that gets the pimple and it leaves the mark behind, you are going to love this. And if you're more like me and you get the big red pimples, the whiteheads, and the ones that are kind of painful, that is when and why I love the succinic acid spot treatment. This is amazing. The main ingredients in here that are medically proven to help acne are sulfur and salicylic acid, which we've already spoken about ad nauseum. But this also has succinic acid, which can basically disrupt how bacteria, specifically acne bacteria, makes more of itself inside of your skin. So it stops the cycle, specifically the citric acid or the Krebs cycle. Now, there needs to be more research on that because again, this is not a medically proven ingredient, but it is this beautiful corn-based succinic acid, this green little leprechaun that literally goes into your face and annihilates breakouts. I love this so much. Some people absolutely hate it. This is kind of like the oat cleansing balm, where for some people this is an absolute hit, and for some people this is an absolute miss because of the way that it smells. And I get it. It smells like a leprechaun. And leprechauns don't smell good. Yes, they have gold at the end of the pot of the rainbow, but they do not smell like rainbows. They smell like grubby little groundworms, okay? Okay. But leprechauns, although smelly, really know how to find the good stuff. We're talking about the marshmallows on the Lucky Charms box. We're also talking about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and the skincare spot treatments that actually work. Sometimes I use this as a serum. If you kind of blend it in, it blends in clear. So sometimes I use this as like a serum step all over my face, but I love this so much. This is one of my favorite spot treatments ever. And I love this for oily to combo skin. This could work on any skin type as a spot treatment, and this can too. Although I think this is better for like dry that deals with pigmentation, whereas this is better for red, especially because the green can help color correct, and for those who are a little bit more inflamed. The Inkey list also has their retinol serum as well as their omega water cream as some of their best sellers. For me, I like those, but I wouldn't necessarily call them super hits, and they're definitely not super misses. And especially because the Inkey list just launched these super solutions, I'm still testing it right now, a little bit on my back acne and my shoulders because I broke out because of Trader Joe's sunscreen. Darn these dupes that are inexpensive and effective yet break me out. Like, why? Why can my body not handle nice things? Hold up, I'm like really breaking out on the Trader Joe's side versus Supergoop side. Am I crazy or do you see it too? Anyways, we know that retinoids are great for acne. I'm using the Super Solution Retinoid on my back as I'm testing it out. That one is excellent. The retinol one from the Inkey list is also really good. It's a great beginner retinol, but I don't know if I would call it a hit, especially since I have been liking the Super Solution Retinoid a little bit better. The Omega Water Cream is an excellent moisturizer. I don't think it's one of the best moisturizers in the entire world. For example, there are some other moisturizers that I do like better, but for the price, it is a good one. And most of the things on the Inkey list's best sellers list are things that I can get behind, with the exception of some products that are not inky and beautiful and good, but they're like crusty, chonky whiteout. Like if these good products are on the Inkey list, those are the ones that gotted whiteout, and it's like the bad whiteout, the one that was like a tape version. Do you remember that? Like it wouldn't even white things out, and then if you scratched at it, it would come off. And then you're turning in your paper to your teacher and it looks like your paper has like its own dandruff on it. I'm aging myself here. Everyone's doing things digital nowadays, aren't they? If you know the tape whiteout, you're a real one, okay? Okay, where are all my millennials? Not Zoomers at? I see you. I am one of you, even though I won't admit it. These are my hits and misses from the Inkey list, and a note that while they may be one of my favorite brands, it is possible that they do things that we don't like, and that's all about a relationship, is that we learn what works, we compromise, and we rebuy only the things that work for us, our skincare routines, and our budgets. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you stay hydrated orally and topically. I hope you don't throw products around your room and drop them all, because again, my dexterity has left me today. Left me, get it? Right and left. Anyways, I am done. Love you guys.